Welcome everyone. New season, new format for our slides, which is very exciting, using all the Tesla colors, thanks to Alan. We're going to talk about aftermarket accessories. I envision this as being sort of an open discussion. People are going to like what they like. People know what products they put on their cars, but it's kind of fun to share with each other things that you like and things that you think people should know about they might not know about, especially if there are specific brands you like, specific websites you like, products that are better from one place than another place. I just kind of want this to be sort of an open forum for discussion of these things. All right, so first, we've sorted this out into several categories, the first of which is helpful and good to have things. Things like wall connectors, adapters, essential things to have in the car to make sure that everything is running well and that everything is sort of running like you want in terms of charging, in terms of getting into your garage and out, keeping your paint in good condition, keeping your seats in good condition, air pumps, etc. High-powered wall connectors are definitely a very, very good thing to have if you don't have it. The mobile connector is not really the ideal way to charge. And if you can get a wall connector, that's always good. Lift pucks, in terms of getting your car up on a lift over at any place you're getting your tires done, rotated, etc. John can definitely chime in about the adapters. Having ways of plugging your tires, pumping them up. Door labels for people with an older Model 3 or a Model Y, especially ones that don't have the little icon on the button telling people where they should be pressing to open the door, since people will tend to pull the little pulls that you're not supposed to pull instead. Various floor mats from different brands, mud flaps, either aftermarket or directly from Tesla. HomeLink is a option that you can get directly from Tesla that a lot of people seem to not really know about. Tesla also does sell a paint repair kit, and of course, seat covers for people with pets. And I'm going to hand it over to John right now, I guess, to talk about adapters.
Sure. Now, we've got a number of adapters. Unfortunately, the only one that comes with our cars is if you want to plug into a 110 outlet, which is pretty dumb because realistically, most people are not going to be happy with the rate of charge they're going to get out of that. Okay, yeah, Bill's got a good question in there, and I'm happy to talk about that. The disadvantage and the downside of the mobile connectors. Well, one of the issues, if you plan on bringing your mobile connector with you all the time, that means you're plugging and unplugging it constantly from the wall. We have found that there's been a lot of complaints about loose contacts in the outlets as a result of that, and plug meltdowns, where literally the NEMA 1450 plugs have melted.
I have had that happen.
Yeah, Ken's had that happen. If you go into the TMC forum, you can literally find hundreds of people talking about melted NEMA 1450 plugs. So that being said, the alternative is you leave your mobile connector connected all the time, which seems like a better idea as long as you take the weight of the connector off the plug. So you need to have some kind of bracket so that your mobile connector is not hanging directly from the outlet. When it's hanging like that, it starts to create a loose connection. As soon as you get any kind of space with that kind of voltage, you get arcing and heat. And those are the two things that you don't want to see happen. So that's the biggest downside of the mobile connector.
Yeah, the other thing is just constant plugging and unplugging wears out those connectors very, very quickly and very, very easily. If you're somebody who wants to take the connector with you, which is something we're technically supposed to be doing.
Correct. Yeah, I always carry my mobile connector in the car. If I was going to do that, I would buy a second mobile connector and leave that plugged in all the time. But I just never know when I'm going to be somewhere where I want to pick up a charge, or at the last minute I'm out somewhere and suddenly I find I'm going somewhere, and the charging options are limited. I want my mobile connector to be with me.
Now, the other downside of using the mobile connector for charging is charge rate. The Gen 2 mobile connector, which has been in shipping with every car since 2018, charges at a max of 32 amps. Now, all of our cars with the exception of particularly old ones, like very old Model S's, very old, I say that, like 2015 and earlier. The cars are designed to charge at 48 amps, and the mobile connector only does 32 amps. The Gen 1 mobile connector itself even only does 40 amps. So you are missing out on the fastest rate of charge that you can get otherwise by doing that.
Okay. All right. I think that answered your question, Bill. If it doesn't, just let me know, and you can come off mute and we can talk about it if I miss something.
The only thing I want to say, and I haven't checked on the price recently, but if you want to get a spare mobile connector just to have at your house, at that point, you're not far off from the price of getting the high powered wall connector, aside from, getting an electrician out. So, I mean, at that point, you spend a little bit extra money, and we're not talking like hundreds, we're talking like maybe $100, and you can get a wall connector. Right.
Right. Also, if you install a wall connector, there's a 30% federal rebate on the wall connector, but not on the NEMA 1450 plug.
Yep.
Okay.
John, I wanted to add real quick before you jump in.
Sure.
One thing that I'm finding out is there could be a learning curve and I call it learning budget, right? We all don't have thousands of dollars to come up on accessories, right?
Well, wait a minute. We own Teslas. We're all rich guys, right?
Yeah, we all rich. But so it could get overwhelming going from 1 to Z, right? But so I would advise and encourage that have a plan, right? So obviously the standard adapter that comes in, unless you're going to 2 miles every 3 weeks, it's not going to be sufficient. So, but have a plan for the charger, have a plan for what would you like to do accessory wise. Otherwise, you could get overwhelmed by the things that you could wait another month or two. But have a plan of what you're trying to accomplish right away, month 2, month 3. Of course, if you're waiting 20 weeks for your car, you got plenty of time. So you can go to level 2, level 3 on your budget.
Yep.
Yeah. Jose, you're not bitter or anything, are you?
So what I've done with my mobile connector, I have it plugged in, and I rarely unplug it because most of my travel is right around the Harrisburg area. So I just leave it plugged in. And I also reduced the charge rate down to about 25 amps rather than the 32, just to knock it back a little bit, because I didn't want I don't have a problem with it gets plenty of charge overnight. I don't have any trouble with that. And when we traveled to Florida, I took it with me, and we spent our whole time on 115 volt and really didn't have any trouble because we weren't going that far.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it worked out quite well. So I think right now, I'm just probably going to skip that for the time being, unless it really raises its head. I did invest in the CCS one adapter, but
Okay, yeah, and that's a good segue because we're gonna talk about that next. So.
of course, it isn't out of the box yet, but that's beside the point.
It didn't have what?
It's not out of the box yet, but that's beside the point.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's been sitting there, make sure you charge it up a little bit. Plug it in for an hour before you throw it in the car. Okay, Dale's got a great question about CCS1 accounts, and this also is going to go for Catamo accounts also, because basically you're using the same charging network to use either of those devices. So there are a number of companies out there. It in general doesn't cost you anything to get an account with those companies. Some of them offer discounts for frequent charges. So some of them will offer you, if you pay them a certain amount every month, you'll get a discount on charging. I don't recommend you do that. CCS1 and Catamo for us are occasional charging options. They're not our regular charging options. If it happens to be your regular charging option, then you might want to look into getting an account where you can buy down your charges. But that being said, we've got Blink, EVgo, ChargePoint, Electrify America. I carry all of those in my wallet. I also carry SEMA Connect,
Mhm.
which though that's not too prevalent up in the Northeast. I travel down to, as I said, I'm in Austin right now. I travel through this area, and the SEMA Connect charges tend to appear usually in the southern part of the country.
Yeah, sometimes you do need to get their cards in advance because they will actually send you a physical card.
Mhm.
For a lot of them, that you can have a virtual card sort of in the virtual wallet on your phone, which you access the same ways you'd access a credit card you have linked to your phone.
Yeah.
ChargePoint is pretty
ChargePoint in
prevalent.
particular is very good with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually have cards for most of them, but I also have the app. So I use the app first. If the app works, then I use that. If I can't get the app to work, then I pull the card out and I tap the card. And you need a credit card on file with them to same way you do with Tesla. But any of the above accounts that I mentioned, yeah, I can absolutely put up a list. And actually, what I'm going to do here, everybody that's in this meeting, you're going to get an email when we're done, and we're going to try and send you any relevant links that we talk about in here, and information like exactly that. And I'm going to ask, let's see, who's not doing anything? Barry, do me a favor. Make a list of stuff that we need to send at the end of the meeting. So I'll make sure I get an email out. So one of those things will be a list of all the charges. And I'll also, in that email, I'll give you links to those companies also, Dale.
What networks have you used the CCS adapter with?
Oh, at this point, I've used it with Blink/EVgo, because in Pennsylvania, apparently Blink bought all the EVgo charges. And I used it with, I'm trying to remember the one that was there's one at the Harley Davidson in York. I think that might have been a charge point station. So I've used it with those two, and it worked fine with both of them.
Mm-hmm. And I've used the Catamo on the ones on the Turnpike as well. It works. You do have to have an account with, I can't remember which company it is. John, do you remember?
Yeah, on the Turnpike, it's EVgo,
okay,
which is probably Blink now.
Yep.
But I would also add to that, don't expect it to work the first time. I'll tell you right now. Every time I have yet to use, though I won't say that with the CCS one. I have been able to get the CCS one to work the first time. I've never been able to get the Catamo charger to work correctly the first time. I've always had to plug it in, unplug it, plug it in again. Sometimes I even have to call the company and get them to reinitialize the station. So it's not like using a supercharger where it's plug in and forget about it. So usually there's something to go along with it.
Yeah, and then as Morrison chimed in the chat, you can use Electrify America too, but Electrify America is unfortunately not cheap.
No, not even close.
So this is probably good for if you're planning a road trip. So, before I bought the car and just looking at the possibility of what my charging options were, because there was, till recently, there wasn't a supercharger here. I use PlugShare to kind of look around at things. So I was thinking about trips I might take, and I would sort of check along the way, and PlugShare does a reasonably good job of showing you where things are. And then if you have a question about a particular, charging station, you can literally go into it. And if anyone has sort of checked in, sort of the community has checked in there, you can see if it's still active or not. There's one literally around the corner from where I live right now. And a business basically put a Blink station in. And I drove over there one day just out of curiosity, and it was dead. It was completely off. And the last check-ins were like 2017 or something like that, where it said station dead. So, if you have concerns or questions on a road trip, you can use PlugShare to kind of check your plan a little bit and get a sense of what apps you should install right away and what cards you need to sign up for, and, so that you have them if you're really concerned about it.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught at one of these things with no charge and at that point have to sign up for their network.
Yeah, we'll include in the email a link to the plugshare.com site also.
Tires, tire plug repair kit, air pumps, sealant. Tesla does manufacture and sell, or I guess they buy from somebody and sell a Tesla branded air pump, which actually has sealant attached to it. It's fine. It's a decent pump. It works effectively enough. There are some wonky units out there. Just be aware. I had actually one that blew out the fuse for the 12-volt outlet in my car. But I imagine that's not typical. John actually always has a tire plug repair kit with him as well, which I'm going to guess you've used at some point because you're pretty insistent on that.
Yeah, I actually, knock on wood, because I have a lot of driving to do this week. So, but knock on wood, I've never had to use it in the Tesla, but I have plug tires on my cars before.
Yep.
And yeah, I just carry a kit with me. I carry a pair of pliers and a pair of snips in case I need to, snip a nail or something that's sticking out of a tire. And again, you can do this right on the car. You don't need to remove the tire to do that. It's actually pretty simple to do as long as you don't mind lying down on your back for a couple of minutes. And those tire plug repair kits, 99% of the time, I've plugged tires and never worried about it again. I know they say
Yep.
you should go get it patched from the inside and all that stuff, but I've been able to do that many times and never had an issue with it.
I heard that advice that John had mentioned before in the past in one of our talks. And I went and I bought something off Amazon and it seems pretty generic, seemed pretty okay. And then I went and I bought the Tesla one and it's just much better quality. So I have two of them. They're sitting in the car. Though I don't know how long that for the 12-volt getting to all the tires, how easy that works out.
Actually,
I know in the Model Ys, you guys got a second one or something in your trunk.
Yeah. Yeah, the Model Y has a 12-volt plug in the rear. And actually what I did was I bought some wire and I added a 25-foot extension to the power cord. And
Okay.
now I can plug in one time and I can reach every tire on the car.
Yeah, this should probably get one of those.
And the answer to that, Vic, is absolutely yes, it will.
Door labels on earlier Model Ys and on a lot of Model 3s until fairly recently. On the button on the doors, it just had a line. It didn't indicate, that was the button for opening the door. So for non-Tesla savvy people sitting in your passenger seat, they would pull the handle instead of pressing the button to open the door. It's generally not advised to do that except in emergency situations, pulling the handle, because it can mess with the glass, which is supposed to drop down when the door opens, and it can damage the trim over time. There are a number of companies out there that sell little decals, little stickers that you can put on the button that essentially match the one that Tesla uses.
Yeah.
Just a good, easy thing to have to save you some grief potentially later on.
Yeah. By the way, if you're a club member, you can go to the website and get a discount code from Test Bros, and they sell pretty much almost everything that we're talking about tonight. So
Yeah.
But we get like a 15% discount for being a club member. So
And we have more than one of these sites, so you have some options if you have a
Yeah.
preference.
yeah, Abstract Ocean, we also get a discount
Yep.
from also.
And they're a good one. Floor mats, there are so many different opinions on floor mats that people have, different brands. What is the one true floor mat? The ones that Tesla sells are literally just WeatherTech. They are literally WeatherTech floor mats that just have a Tesla label on instead of the WeatherTech label on it. So unless you feel like you really need to have something that says Tesla on it, the WeatherTech ones are perfectly fine. That being said, there are a bunch of other good ones out there. A lot of people swear by the 3D Max Spider brand ones. There are a fair number of people who use the Tux mat. There's a lot of them out there as far as carpeted or all weather floor mats go. I'm not sure if anybody has anything they want to add on that. Feel free to come off the chat if you have particularly strong opinions about any in particular.
Yeah, if you've bought a different all-weather mat that you really like, post it in the chat. This is more of a collaboration tonight, guys, than a course. We're not trying.
Yep.
We're talking about our experiences, but lots of you guys have had different experiences with stuff. So please feel free to put it in there. Okay. Mud flaps. Let's see. Do we talk about HomeLink, Ken?
Well, we didn't get mud flaps yet. So Tesla does sell OEM mud flaps for the Model 3 and the Model Y. I can tell you from experience, the Model Y ones actually work really well. They're not the absolute prettiest mud flaps out there, but they're extremely effective at keeping stuff from being kicked up on the side of your car, particularly on the rocker panel and on the rear of the door. The Model 3 OEM mud flaps, my impression of them is that they're not especially effective and that you are probably better served getting an aftermarket one. There are ones that exist that are sort of designed to look like they're very much OEM. They have a good contour to it. And most of them that are being sold now don't require any actual drilling or screwing anything into the car. Most of them do work with a little plastic pop, little pop rivets.
Yeah, hang on one second, Ken.
Yep.
Hey, Bill, you want to come off mute? What didn't you like about the Tasmanian mats for the front?
No, he says he has them, not hate them.
No,
I
he
have
said
them.
he didn't like the.
Basically,
didn't like
I like the Tasmanian man. I like the ones that are in the back, and I like the ones in the back for the back seat, but the ones in the front seat just look cheap. It's like a plastic kitty litter pan, if you will.
Okay.
It's kind of the way I would describe it. So I think that eventually I'll probably replace them with something that looks a little bit nicer. That's all.
Got it.
I mean, they're effective, don't get me wrong, but I just don't really care for them all that much.
And Kate, I've never even heard of Tesloid. That's a new one to me. Tell me about their mats.
They're all weather. They're a little bit glossier than like the WeatherTech, but they are less expensive than the WeatherTech. And in
Yes, they are.
Pennsylvania, I think they're good because they have a good inch or two that comes up on the side. So I've had WeatherTech in my last car, and those Tesloids are great. I was actually looking at Tasmanian, but they were sold out, and those Tesloids are, I like them, and they fit really well in the 2021 Model 3 in the back as well, which I saw was an issue for some other ones.
Hey, Morrison, you want to tell us about the sub trunk mat that Tux Mats has?
Well, the Tux mats, yeah.
Yeah, I like them. When I went searching for options, it was most important to have the most coverage, and that at the time, at least, which was 2 years ago now, they had the most coverage out of all the options. But yeah, they have all areas covered. So the front 2 footwells, the rear footwell area across the back. The front obviously has got one, the trunk has got one, and then the sub trunk has got something similar to the front, obviously smaller to line the bottom. So if you put anything dirty in there, or if you spill water in there, it won't seep into the carpet, which is, I'm assuming, very hard to remove.
That's great. I hadn't heard of that one before. And Barry likes his 3D Max Spiders too, huh?
Yeah, and I had previously used the 3D Max Spider ones in my previous Teslas, and I thought they were great. I actually have the carpet ones, which are a little hard to come by, but they're waterproof and they clean up really well and they work really well. All right,
Oh, wow.
HomeLink. HomeLink is one of my favorite things. I think HomeLink is one of John's favorite things too.
It is.
So HomeLink is an option that you can get on your Model 3 or on your Model Y, purchased directly from Tesla. It's $300. Mobile service will come out to install it, but it is an automatic garage door opener similar to on other cars. However, HomeLink on a Tesla hooks up with the GPS on your car as well, so your garage door will automatically open as you drive up to it without you having to do anything. Likewise, it'll automatically close when you leave your house without you having to actually do anything. To me, that's what makes it a really cool feature to put into your car. And for me, the $300 is worth it. That's personal opinion. Obviously, other people might have other opinions on that too.
Hey, Ken, I was all about the HomeLink until, realized $300 and
Yep.
I got all the stuff to get. But I've heard that there's issues with the connectivity, and it's more often than you would like. Have you ever had issues with it?
I have never once had an issue with connectivity after 3 Teslas over 4+ years of ownership at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have a finicky garage door opener as it is, then you're probably gonna have issues with HomeLink, because I know mine's like very finicky, even with regular door openers. Like there's a very specific spot I have to stop at when I'm backing out and for it to close. But again, that's some of that comes down to the antenna and your garage door opener as it is.
Okay, that might be a
Yeah,
factor.
yeah. Vi's comment. Yeah, HomeLink I think used to be included on the threes. It was always
Very, very early on. Yes, it was included.
Um, no comment on that one, Dale. No place for me to go there, pal.
I'm paying extra for that one.
Yeah, Model S and X always had it included, but and what Vi's saying there, I've never had a connectivity issue with it. Every once in a while, if I skip it, if I tell it to skip an opening, it might forget, and I'll do that occasionally, like if I'm leaving and I don't want it to close the garage door because, somebody's, my son's out working out front and wants to get in. So stuff like that. But basically it's been absolutely bulletproof, and the geofencing works perfectly.
Mhm. And that's really the coolest feature about it on a Tesla. I mean, like, for example, like my wife on her car, she has HomeLink, but you actually have to press a button to do it every time. And that's all well and good to have the garage door opener built into your car, but Tesla takes in a little bit of a different and better direction.
Yep. Okay. Paint repair kit, Ken?
Yeah, Tesla makes their own paint repair. Or they sell the paint repair kit. It is literally the same thing as the Dr. Color Chip brand paint repair kit, but you can be sure that you're getting the color matched perfectly when you get it from Tesla. I've used it. It's a decent kit. It comes with everything you need. It comes with the paint. It comes with a blending solution. It comes with a microfiber cloth for buffing it. For particularly deep chips, I would recommend putting successive layers on. Put a layer on, let it dry. Put another layer on, let it dry. Put another layer on, let it dry. And you can fill in dings on the car and actually make it look pretty decent in the end. The colors matched about as good as you could possibly get from a paint repair kit. It's never going to look as perfect as it did at first, but it's decent. Seat covers, I didn't put that one in. Somebody else put that one in.
That was Barry's thing.
Actually, I use it's basically like it's a cover that hooks over the rear seat headrest and the front seat headrest, and create in the back seat, and keeps the dog from falling in between the seats, and also from being able to touch any of your seats. They work great. You can find them for anywhere from 50 to 125 bucks on Amazon or any of those places. And they're well worth the investment. Especially, I have white seats in my car. I don't want my dog's long nails digging into them. So,
Yeah, they're essentially like dog hammocks, right?
yep, it's exactly that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's literally a hammock for the back seat.
Now there are also seat protectors that you can buy for putting car seats on. You have to be really careful with that. A lot of them, they're very slippery and they'll actually make your car seat not function the way they're supposed to. There's one by Munchkin, Elite Seat Guardian car seat protector. This actually has a very good, very grippy rubber pattern on the top side and the bottom side. In terms of having kids in a car and wanting to protect the seats from their feet, from kicking, etc., that's probably the most reasonable one out. That's probably the only decent one that I've found out there that actually doesn't ruin your seats in the process and actually keeps the car seat really, really stable put on the car. Other things that you can get from Tesla and not. Car covers, not much to say about that. Sunshades. Tesla makes a number of sort of mesh sunshades for cars. I personally have never used one. I don't know if anybody else here has used them. Feel free to chime in. I'll take that as a no. They sell them, they exist. I don't know why you'd get them, because the cars actually do a pretty good job blocking heat in the first place. On the forums, that comes up more with people from like Arizona or Texas or places like that. Center console trays and inserts for the updated center console on the Model 3 and the Model Y. There are inserts, little trays that you can put in. The clever part about the one that goes in the main storage area, the one further to the front, is that you can slide it back and forth. There's a track in there for doing that, so you can still get under it without removing it. The one under the armrest, so you do have to remove to get underneath it. Tesla has roof racks and bars available for the cars. The Tesla bicycle / ski rack is literally I believe it's a Thule. Is it Thule or is it the other one?
I think it's Thule, but you might want to back up 1 second on the roof rack,
All right.
just a comment. All of a sudden, I've been starting, obviously I comb the internet all the time for Tesla stuff. And one of the things that I see coming up in some forums now is people buying third-party roof racks and having problems with it cracking the glass on their Model Ys. So I would be extremely cautious. Yeah, Morrison, wasn't there just something in the Maryland Club about that?
Yeah, there was discussion about whether you should use the Tesla one or not. The roof rack does clamp to the metal framework around, but yeah, you're very close to the glass. I wouldn't risk it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the consensus that I've been seeing out there is more or less go if you're going to get a roof rack, get the Tesla roof rack. Don't mess around with third-party racks.
And Morrison, we're going to get to that lid compartment case, or that lid compartment little storage area in a little bit.
Yeah,
we're aware of that one.
Good advice from Bill right there. Yeah, absolutely. But I think the Tesla one is easier to make sure that it doesn't hit the glass because it's really designed for that. Apparently, some of these third-party racks just overlap the glass just slightly, and it's enough to start the glass cracking. So
the bicycle rack that Tesla sells is literally a Thule Tesla or a Thule bicycle rack with a T on it. Tesla charges a couple $100 more for that than you would pay for it getting it from the company directly. You don't need to buy the Tesla branded one. It's not where it's there's no reason to have to do that.
It has a T in it.
But it has a T on it, I know.
Hey, give me $50. I'll put a T on it for you.
Seriously. Floor vent covers. This is something I actually just put on my car, found out about. So when I had a Model S, the floor vents for the second row are these big, wide open gaping holes. And my daughter tore apart a Mardi Gras necklace, and one of the beads got in there and was rolling around inside the car for over a month. And I could not figure out what was going on. I could not get it out. I ended up having to purchase a little video endoscope with a grabber, and I ended up having to snake it up in there. I eventually did find the bead and get it out. The Model 3 and the Model Y, or the Model Y in particular, but also the Model 3, the floor vents also are these gaping wide open holes. Inside it also, it makes several bends. It actually makes two 90-degree bends, followed by, my impression is, an almost 180-degree bend. If something falls in there and gets stuck, it is nearly impossible to get out. On Etsy and several other sites, and you can find links about these things on the TMC forums. People are 3D printing little floor vent covers that can go in there and fit in really nicely and look very slick and professional to keep little things like beads from falling down into those floor vents. I think it's worth it personally, just because I dealt with the consequences of not having one of those at one point. All right, key rings. John has a key ring.
I do, as a matter of fact, and I love it. I couldn't wait to get. I'm one of those guys. I couldn't wait to get rid of having to carry around a key fob, and I thought that was great. But at the same time, I carry the card, the backup key card in my wallet, but I didn't want to have to be reaching my wallet every time if I had a problem with my phone. So basically, I bought one of these. It's the ceramic ring made by Column, I think, COLOMB or something like that. You can see it on Amazon. Costs about $120. Does exactly the same thing that the backup key card does. I can stick this up next to the B pillar and unlock the car. If it's not recognizing my phone, I just stick my hand down next to the armrest behind the cup holders, and it recognizes that, and I can start the car. I love them. Do not, however, there are a couple out there that are made out of wood, and I've heard that they can be problematic. They can crack, they can wear down, and with all the hand washing we were doing, apparently they weren't reacting well to the alcohol. So this ring is ceramic; nothing affects it.
So I've heard a lot of people have problems with their phones not connecting. I've maybe twice in over a year and a half have I ever had my phone even think about not working when I walk up to the car. Am I just getting extremely lucky, or?
Well, I think you're getting extremely lucky.
Well, also, how old is your phone, Mark?
I have a Samsung Galaxy S21. I also had a Samsung Galaxy S10,
Okay.
and I never had any problems at all with either
I-
of those phones.
Yeah, I've heard.
I had one problem one time, and I think it was because I have like a stock Android phone, and Google had made some update, and they were messing around with the Bluetooth stuff, like giving priority or something. And so after a couple updates, problems went away. But I think like one time where I literally let me in my car, and then it's like, nope, you need a key card. And then I just pulled it out, tapped it, and then disconnected and reconnected in the car. That was good. So
Yeah,
Yes.
I've also heard that there are more problems apparently with the iPhones than there are with the Android phones, and that could be another reason why you're doing better.
Okay.
Typically with Android, it seems to happen, at least for me, after the Tesla app itself is updated if you don't open it beforehand. That's another one of those common scenarios.
Yep. And by the way, Morrison put a very cool link in there. I'm glad he brought that up because I did notice that online this week. That there's something going on with iPhone and with a lot of phones where if they need to grab memory, even though your app is open in the background, they kill the app. And I to this day I find it, I have an older iPhone. I have an 8 Plus. When I use my iPhone, if I don't have the Tesla app open in the background, it will not open my car. If I get in the car and I close the Tesla app, it immediately gives me a message on the screen that says, phone will no longer open my car. So, there's obviously something going on with that. But I think if you guys see that link, you should grab that link that Morrison put in there about don't kill my app on how to configure your phones not to do that.
Yep, that's for Android only though.
Yes.
All right. Mattresses, the Dream Case, things for Tesla camping. The Dream Case is a very slick, very expensive mattress for the back of your car. That being said, if you look on the forums, you will find that there are actually tons of air mattresses and things like that, like standard air mattresses or inflatable mattresses that work just fine for doing the exact same thing. There are even some roll-up mattresses that can do the exact same thing. The catch here is the space for the second row footwell. There are actually inserts that you can purchase that go in there so that your head actually has an area to go on if you're laying down with your head on the inside of the car and your feet near the lift gate. Any comments, anyone? The Dream Case is a very slick way of doing it. It's an all-in-one little package. It comes in a fancy little box. However, it costs, how much is that?
it costs as much as like an actual getting yourself a new bed and mattress. You're talking like 800 something, near 1,000
Yeah,
over
it
1,000 or
is.
something.
Hold on, I'll have that for you in a moment.
No, they make them for the X and the S. I don't.
They make them for all now. It
Okay.
is 665 euros,
Yeah.
which is a lot. All right, Easy Pass holder. Somebody comment on that. I don't know anything about those.
Ben is also in the club, and he told me about one of those. So I got two off Amazon. They're not that much. They literally just sort of suction cup right up to your window, and you can put it right next to where your mirror is behind your mirror. So the one I got two. I got one that was clear, and then I also bought one that was just black. So it doesn't, from the outside, it doesn't look that odd, right? It basically just sort of sits right up there, so you don't have to like get it out of your center console and hold it up in a weird place or anything.
If you have your Easy Pass in Pennsylvania no longer uses the transponders, they look at your license plate number. If you have a account, they just bill that account.
Yes, but you pay more for doing it that way.
Actually, it's less
no
now.
more. No,
Yeah,
Oh,
no more.
really? They got rid of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually 60% cheaper than actually paying the toll if you have an Easy Pass account. They just changed that.
You used to get nailed with a VTOL if it didn't register, is what Ken's saying. Because when I got my car at first, I actually mounted my transponder in the frunk, and it worked for probably 3 months, I'd say. And then finally it started getting finicky, and I started getting VTOLs, and I had to mount mine in the car. And at the time there really weren't options for like the silicone skins for the Easy Pass and stuff. So I actually wrapped mine. So
Yeah, and I actually have had I've had no luck whatsoever with using an Easy Pass inside any Tesla I've ever owned. So I get an external Easy Pass tag that on the front grille, I take 2 wire ties and I connect it to the front of the front grille, and I've never had a problem with that working.
Whereas I just have my Easy Pass to the right of the rearview mirror, and I really don't care what it looks like.
Yeah, I just stuck the Velcro strips or whatever right to a piece of plastic that suction cups up, and it's been fine.
Yeah, Morrison's comment in there, I've heard that before too, says that it'll work if you put it on the back of the screen in the 3 and the Y.
yeah, it's hard to blend it in though if you do that.
Am I hearing that the transponder is no longer required?
As long as you have an account.
Yeah, I used to work for the Turnpike, so I just don't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, good, because I have the original one, and I was getting ready to buy the holder, but
The candy bar one.
Was that?
Yeah.
You were gonna switch out the big one for the candy bar?
No, I was gonna get the actual holder, but if they're taking the license plate as a first choice, then I don't need to spend $10 on a holder.
And me, I just stuck my Easy Pass onto the windshield, just with the little 3M, Velcro-y stuff that came with it anyway.
Yeah.
And I really don't care. But then again, I'm from, the Connecticut, New York area in the first place, where we were using Easy Pass back when the transponders were enormous.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's another point that Ken made there, that if you're using the Turnpike often, then it makes sense to have some type of fixture or some sort of a plan. But if you're using it once or twice a month, then it's up to you to how you're going to use that. And right now, I used to have it on my windshield forever. Now I just have it in the glove box. I just kind of go, I do it once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I just leave it suction cupped up there. I've used it a couple times. I just go right through. It's not a big deal. So.
Yeah, Vic, bear in mind, if you're going out of state though, you still need the transponder.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's fine if you're in PA, Vic, but if you go to Jersey or Maryland or anywhere else where you're using your pass, you may need it.
And Jersey will kill you.
Yeah.
With fees and everything.
Anything in Jersey kill you.
They'll let you in for free, but they won't let you out.
They won't
without
let you
out.
All right.
Yeah.
Lastly on this list, door sill protectors. Anyone want to one of you guys want to comment on that?
Barry, I think that was your suggestion.
Some people don't like getting the little thing that says Model 3 or Y or S or X scratched up. There are protectors that can go over that. You can also just put a little piece of PPF over that too.
Yeah,
I just do the exact same thing.
I just cut my own PPF for mine, but you can get pre-cut little sill protectors that are, like Ken said, it's just kind of a pre-cut, pre-shaped point of little slice of PPF. You can slide right over there, protect those little back kick plates, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Now,
in the front of the car.
One thing that I did see online in a discussion was because the door sill for the rear seats on the Model Y are just fabric, there isn't really a real, plastic door sill there. There are little stick-on rubber mats or plastic little sheets that you can put over it too that you can find on some of the websites, but you'd have to search for those.
And some people do that so, when the kids get in and out, that, not scuffing up the paint and stuff.
I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, but what can I say?
They sell it, man.
You can't keep your car pristine forever. It's going to get wear.
Nope.
It's a car. Ultimately, guys, it's a car, for God's sakes. It's, it's not your living room.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using your car, it's going to get scuffed up. It's just the nature of these things.
You mean it's not my bedroom if I get a dream case?
It can be your bedroom if you want it to be, Barry. In case if you get kicked out of the house.
Yeah,
I'm good. That might happen after the truck, anyways.
Yeah, keep pissing Amanda off. We'll see what happens.
Well, there is a camper for that. It's cost like $65,000 for the Cybertruck.
They're sold out, man. That'd be like $100,000 now.
Yeah, they're a lot. All right, moving on.
Yep, moving on. This one's very long.
The fun stuff.
Yep, this now we're getting into the actual fun stuff.
Mods.
We can have Morrison talk a little bit about the power trunk and front kits, under bumper foot sensor, stronger pistons, etc. if he wants.
You're on, Morrison.
Great. All right. So I don't have an accent, so let anyone let me know if I'm talking too fast or slow down, pronunciate better, etc.
You just need to learn how to speak English and you'll be fine.
All right. So top of the list, you can get automatic opening on the front and trunk with stronger pistons. So they're a swap out of the struts that are on each side that keep both of them open when they've been opened manually. If you wanted, you can get kits that allow opening and closing. So they're, again, a switch out of the struts, but these are powered. So there is a control box that's mounted behind trim that allows in concert with exactly the same methods that you use to open both the front and trunk, allows it to open and close it. So you can use a screen, you can use the app, you can use a fob, you can use the buttons that are on the trunk to open it, the button you use when you're there to pop it open, and also all of these to close it as well. On the trunk, there is a button that they include that allows you to close it when you're sitting there. Obviously, it's open. Most people can't reach the button that you use to pop it open. So there's a aftermarket button that is installed. I'm sorry. That allows you to close it, and actually there's a button that some might know that's in the front, which I think is mandated by federal law because it's a storage area, to pop open if someone's trapped in there. That button actually functions as a close for the front also, so you don't have to pull your phone out or the fob or go into the car. You can just press the button while you're there and it'll close the front also. With both front and trunk, there is the foot sensors that allow you to basically kick your foot under each of the bumpers, like the Fords have in their ads, to open and close both. Continuing, so soft closed doors. I don't know if anyone else is particularly keen about slamming their doors hard to make sure they don't latch once, but not latch the second time to actually close properly.
Hey, Morrison, can I ask you a question before you move on the power trunk?
Sure.
I've seen some prices on that. What is the approximate cost to install this professionally? If you and where you go, do you go to a regular shop and get this done?
Yeah. So actually, I'm speaking because I'm from the Maryland group and I live in Maryland, but you guys are not too far away. Well, I mean, I know Pennsylvania is a pretty long and tall state, but you know, going to the border or to the central is not out of the question. I actually installed these for the DC region. So I go as far south as southern Maryland, quite far into Virginia. I've done installs on the Pennsylvania border up across in Maryland. So you know, I've been doing it for a year and a half now, and I have some 115, I think, last time I counted. Frunk and trunk kits under my belt. I've started to do a lot of these other kits as well. So yeah, there I'm sure you can find. I mean, you know, car stereo places in your area, I'm sure would take this on. The advantage is I've done a lot of these installs. I only work on Teslas. I'm a Tesla owner. I don't work on any other brand.
You don't have a PA tax, right?
No.
Yeah. If I can, I'll just interrupt for a second there, Morrison. One of the things that we're talking with Morrison about doing is setting up a day when he's going to come up and we'll line up, you know, like 10 cars to get this done. I've got a shop in Lancaster with about 3,400 square feet that we can do this in. And so we'll just have people come in to do that and just set up a day. So he only has to go to one spot and doesn't have to be running all over the state to do it. So the plan, we'll probably be working on that when I get back, which is I'll be back on Saturday. So probably sometime next week, we'll start talking about how we're going to set that up. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And Within a week or two, I'm hoping we'll have something set up to do that.
Yeah, if I may also remark, just going back a little bit, stronger pistons. There are aftermarket pistons that you can buy for the frunk or the trunk on Model 3s that don't have the powered trunk that will open it on its own very easily. Instead of just popping up, it'll actually open all the way. But those you still have to push down on your own. With these power kits, these are actual powered pistons that go on there. This does not invalidate your warranty, except in as much as the pistons themselves goes. These actually plug in kind of in parallel with the actual existing mechanism on the car, and it's pretty neat. It's actually pretty neat because all the buttons work. Like Morrison said, all the buttons work, whether on the car, if you have a key fob, or with the app to open and close both the trunk and the frunk with them.
Yeah, there's actually federal law that you don't have to take. I mean, the basic principle is you don't have to take your car to the dealer and use OEM parts. There's protections using third-party parts that applies to aftermarket things too. So it actually puts the onus on the manufacturer, being Tesla, to prove that the issue is caused by the aftermarket parts, and not the customer to prove that the aftermarket parts weren't the issue. So
yeah, actually, the guys at Lancaster, I actually installed a power front kit on my Model X myself, and the guys at Lancaster all thought it was pretty clever. I didn't get any remarks whatsoever about it being a problem. In fact, they kind of liked it.
Yeah, I have a number of these things on my car as well. I've put them in the service a couple of times. No one's ever complained or said it won't work in your car, you have to remove it. But they are actually fully removable. There's no soldering involved. There's no cutting of wires. When this connection's made, they actually have the manufacturer plug that plugs into that, and then the kit plugs into the socket. And so it takes the signal without actually breaking the wires or changing it in any way, shape, or form that's from manufacturer specs. All right, so yeah, so that's we are John and I will be talking about doing frunk and trunk kits. Some of these items are many hour installs, so that might be a different story, but we can.
Yeah, the auto present handles and the soft close doors are certainly more involved than installing a power trunk or frunk. Having actually myself finally seen how far in there the mechanism for the handles is on a Model 3 and or Model Y. I'm actually shocked because you literally have to disassemble every single part of the entire door to get to it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to take the glass out and take the panel off, the glass out. It's also routing wires into the door panels and underneath the trim. But yeah, it takes time. Anyway, so yeah, soft closed doors. I can actually provide videos. I'm not sure if we can put people in touch around it. So I can provide videos of this functionality I've installed on other people's cars. Basically, when you push it, and if it only closes, if it only clicks once and doesn't fully close, the mechanism will pull it fully closed, and then the window will raise as normal. If it closes normally, there's no extra functionality. So it's an addition, not a hindering or altering in any way, shape, or form the original functionality. And if there's no power to the door, it will still close normally. So the auto present handles are actually they're not cheap, but I actually love. I installed my own car first, and I actually love them. I know people get used to the thumb and finger presenting, the thumb and finger pulling, but these make the handles exactly like a regular car. It pops out for you when you approach the car. When the car detects the signal from your app, it presents the handles to you. When you walk away, they fold down. There's a timeout too, 30 seconds, they'll close up. And if you open and close it, they'll also do, if you unlock and lock the car, it'll also do the representative actions. As well as that, there's lights. You can different color lights around the handles, and it's very easy to see at night where the handles are. You can literally put your hand on the handles because you can see where it is from the lights and open them up. It's I find it probably the most useful, apart from the front of the trunk, the most useful installation accessory that I have on my car. So so some people will know, some people won't, that the center range plus does not come with, it comes with the speakers, but they're not activated. There's physically no cabling from the amp, from the speaker sound system in the car to the speakers. So one of the manufacturers I deal with actually has a kit that allows you to hook those additional speakers up for long range premium audio system like sound system functionality. Again, you have to take the door apart, but that's a simpler install than the two above. Yeah, so there's lights around the car, right? There's lights in the footwells, there's lights under all four doors, and there's 2 lights, at least in the Model 3 and Model Y, in the trunk. All those lights are the same plug, the same design. So you can get ones that are significantly brighter, especially with trunk, that's helpful, significantly brighter than stock, and put those in place. There are different colors. If you don't like whites, there is blue, red, yellow. I've seen other colors around. And I think the accent lights are talking about the ones that we can get the original Tesla logo, or the current T, and a few other different designs as a filter in front of the lights. So when you're putting them in the doors, the bottom of the doors, they'll shine that Tesla symbol or that symbol on the ground instead of just a spread out light, and that's probably covered the puddle lights too. So I think pedal covers are self-explanatory. You change out what you have for the performance pedal covers, which are have metal look, metal in them, so that makes it look like performance if you like that idea. You can change. So I trust everyone knows, but maybe not, that there's the aero wheels are actually 2 different wheels. You have the cap, which is for slightly increased range, and you take them off and you have an alloy sort of design. So you can change the wheel cap covers, the lug nut covers. There's different designs, there's different colors. There's different customizations in that regard.
Yeah, Alan actually got some interesting covers for his wheels, originally from a Kickstarter, but now being sold by a company called Remetrics. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I love them. Everyone comments on them. They always ask. I reached out to them. We're working on, for some of these things, working on some discounts for some of these vendors.
Yeah, so Remetrics
are one of them.
Yeah, Remetrics, the name of which I put in the chat. They have one for Model 3 right now. They have a new aero cover, sort of aero-like cover for the Model Y coming out. That's supposed to be more attractive than the OEM ones, but equally, if not more efficient.
And that was the key thing, is even before I got the car, I supported the Kickstarter. Obviously, with the pandemic, it slowed things down for them. So for me, I paid 160, but now we're looking at like 265, I think, for for a set of 4.
Yeah, which is still actually a pretty good deal for what they're offering. They did a number, you can find it on their website or on their Kickstarter. They did a number of tests in terms of looking at the aerodynamic efficiency of them, and they actually exceed the OEM aero covers.
They are industrial plastic. They do have 2 options. They have a silver and then black. I don't know if the silver are painted or if they're actually silver as the industrial plastic. I don't know. One key thing they do is they cover the rims. Jose sent me a video that I didn't finish watching, where they can scuff up your rims, but apparently also the aero wheels scuff up our rims as well, pretty hard. So Jose had a thing in the Slack he shared with everyone to talk about like little modifications you can make to make sure you don't have too many scratches and stuff from vibration on your rims.
Yeah, there's a double-sided tape that you can get for $2 or $3, and it will cover the inside of your wheel, so you don't have to do touch-ups.
Yeah,
you go back and forth. But absolutely, I bought the same pair that Alan has. I got a good deal online from someone that wanted a 3 and then decided to go with a Y, so they got stuck with the wheels. So I'm excited. I have them. I'm still working on trying to change the R to the T, but I'm trying to do a Chrome delete all across. So that's good.
Yeah. One little thing I did on Amazon, obviously they're not official. I got these little 2.2 inch, 56 millimeter aluminum alloy painted black. It's basically a Tesla T. It sits right in that center perfectly. They go for like $12. They take like 3 weeks to show up.
Alan, those are chrome, right? They're not black.
What?
Well, the actual T is chrome.
What's behind it is basically a little aluminum plate, alloy plate, and then it's bubbled out a little bit, so it's round, and embossed in it is the T, and then it's painted. black, and the center is basically just exposing the aluminum. And there's like a foam taping to sort of center it. They look center to me, but I popped them on, put a little pressure, took a rubber mound, they were fine.
No one's gonna stare at him, from.
You'd be surprised. There's someone going to be staring at it now. They're going to be like, "Oh, that's not right."
Alan, could you put a link to that in the chat?
Make a point.
Yeah, I can do that later when we put all that stuff together.
Okay.
I'll go look on Amazon.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vic asked the question about soft closed doors available in Model 3. Yes, yeah, that is available for Model 3. I've installed it on a couple of cars already. And Mark, yes, the power pistons do work on the 3. I haven't installed on my 3 because I have a 2018 model, not the 2021.
Yeah, Dale, the pedestrian warning system speakers. If your car doesn't have the harness, Tesla is able to retrofit them now, apparently. However, if your car does not have the harness, then it can't be retrofitted onto your car. They were producing them for a little while with the harness, but without the speaker, up until they started putting the speakers in all of them.
Yeah, there's a year, I think, November of last year to November the year before, where they had to have 50% of the cars with them. So there's a good chance if you're manufacturing that time period, you'll have a harness, no speaker, maybe even speaker. But before you won't, and after you should have both the harness and the speaker.
Yeah, it's
if
like
you
a
make a
$40
service appointment, they'll let you know.
Yeah, it's like a $40 speaker. It's not like some stereo boombox or anything. Yeah, I mean, it's just there to make the Jetsons noise.
Yeah.
Or boombox if you want to.
Yeah, or boombox, right? Yeah.
All right, so I think the interior apps can be done by somebody else, but I have a few things not on this list to mention.
Okay.
So I installed tow hitches on Model 3, and there's some of them coming out from Model Y as well for those who want to put a bike rack on or have more ambitious goals. Trailer, for example, although something under 2,000 pounds for the Model 3 is going to be pretty small. And also the kit that allows you to plug in to get brake lights. They also come with that. If you have an X tow brake controllers I've installed before also, so that you can get the car to signal to the trailer brakes to activate and not put the whole load on the brakes of the car itself. I'm not sure if anyone's interested, but there's I've had quite a few customers recently that want accent lighting. Strips of line that goes down each side of the center console along the dash, just below where the vent comes out. And someone actually recently wanted to have lighting that follows the difference in texture on the door panels as well as rear footwell lighting underneath the front seats. I think that might be it in terms of what I've installed. Of course, there's always more. Oh, I'm sorry, massage modules for Model 3 and Model Y. Massage modules.
Oh, massage. Okay, yep.
Yeah, so there's lumbar support air cushions in the seats to provide that support that you can alter. This kit uses those to fluctuate those to create a massaging effect. So it's a pretty simple install in line with those controls.
Just to, I'm just going to throw an answer out there to Bill's question. I actually have seen a solution. I haven't tried it yet. We all know if you have a Model Y that the hitch cover is a piece of crap. And there was a guy who actually figured out what he did was he bought an L bracket from Home Depot, bolted it on to his hitch cover, got rid of the tabs and mounted a heavy duty magnet on the end of it. So when you stick it on, the magnet goes into the hitch and connects to the hitch, and that holds your cover on. So I think that's a pretty neat solution, and I plan on trying that, but I haven't done it yet. I watched the YouTube video of the guy using it, and it looked great. So I'll let you know how that works out, though.
And then there was one other question.
Oh, the hitch
from Dustin, hitch-mounted cargo box.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, a cargo box certainly is a more efficient way of carrying things on the car, just because you're not going to take as much of an aerodynamic hit, more just a hit from the weight. Really, you just need to look at the tongue weight of them. Anything with a you know, within the weight limits of the cargo hitch should be fine. I don't know if there's really a best one out there. Morrison says there's an aftermarket T you can screw onto the hitch cover. Then you grab between your first and second finger. Okay.
Do we talk about the lighted T at all?
I don't think we talked about the lighted T. Want to talk about the lighted T?
Yeah, I missed that. So yeah, on Model 3, Model Y, you can actually put a lighted the T that exists on the trunk can be swapped out for a T that has lighting around it, so that can flash all numbers of colors. And on Model S and X, you can actually replace the Tesla lettering that's in chrome on the back trunk with a kit that does some pretty funky stuff. You can, when you're turning, the lights will flash in red from A to T in sequence. When you're turning left, when you're turning right, it will go from T to A. When you're supercharging, it will flash green. When you're reversing, it will go white. And when you're parked, there's a whole bunch of different effects like Knight Rider, rainbow, a whole bunch of different things you can set the car to do for a certain period of time after it's parked before it switches off.
Interior wraps. There are tons of companies selling all sorts of interior wraps out there for pretty much any part of the car you could possibly think of. There are also caps that you can put over the turn signals if you don't like them being black. John, for example, turned his white.
I did.
Comment on that?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy fix. They actually just make a plastic cap that goes over the stalks, and with a little bit of double-sided tape that goes underneath it. And I like it. I have a white interior, I have a white dash, and just the dark stalks bothered me, so I did that. And I also put white inserts on my steering wheel. And between all of those, I kind of like it.
Yep. There are lots of frunk and sub-trunk storage solutions, little dividers that can fit into there. There's even a cooler that you can buy that fits into the frunk on the Model 3 and the Model Y. There's lots of different things that you can get that go in there. Screen protectors. This is a topic that leads to a lot of debate among people whether your car actually really needs a screen protector or not. I personally have never put a screen protector on anything on a Tesla. John, I don't think you have either.
No, I vote no.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I did.
I did.
Yeah, I
as
did too,
well.
and I have to admit, it cuts down on the number of fingerprints and the glare.
Yeah, so you
So-
can get like the non-glare one, which I had at first, and I actually cracked that screen protector, believe it or not, by accident with a watch. So I saved my screen once, but after that I switched to the clear one, and I actually think I like the clear better than the the matte one that protects.
Yeah,
from
the
glare.
matte ones degrade the quality of the image a little bit.
That's the trade-off between the two.
Yeah, I can't say I see too much of mine, but also spent like 50, 60 bucks on the screen protector. So I went high end, and it is a nice matte finish, and I like that much better than the glassy. I was constantly wiping the screen to get rid of fingerprints. It was bugging me, and fingerprints don't show up nearly as much. So I like my screen protector. It, get rid of the glare, get rid of my fingerprints. So everybody's different. So.
Interior PPF, we kind of alluded to this a little bit already, but there are various PPF kits that you can buy pre-cut to go over pretty much any part on the car you could possibly think of that are high traffic areas or places that like to get scuffed up when kids are kicking them and such. We talked about the Remetrix kits already. Those are pretty cool. Alan likes his.
I got pictures.
Jose, I guess, has one for his car whenever he actually eventually gets his car. HEPA filters, activated carbon air filters. For the Model 3 and the Model Y, as of yet, there is no HEPA filter in the United States for these. However, there are little activated carbon filters that you can buy that go in there to reduce odors from the road and things like that. It's not quite a HEPA filter, but it helps.
Yeah, I bought a third-party one. I have not put it in yet. I watched someone's video where he had to take sort of the side panel off, and there were a couple of clips you have to be careful with, and I haven't gotten adventurous about it yet. So one of these days I'll put them in.
Yep. Alan, do you want to remark on the wireless phone charging pads? I think you're the one who brought that up.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a 2020, so obviously this isn't really an issue for people with the 2021s, because now wireless pads are default. So the particular brand that I liked, I got a hub and a wireless pad from a company called Jeda, Jeda. They make some really good stuff. Again, working on some discounts from them. They have a lot of literally, they're very rapidly offering all kinds of things, even for the new 2021 models. So they make a hub that sort of fits in on the 2020 and the 2021 models. And they also make a wireless pad if you have an older model and you want to add that. Tap Test also, I think, has a wireless pad. And also their hub allows you to kind of hide like your SSD or whatever. They even have like a magnetic mount hard drive you can buy from them as well. And I think the new thing they have for mainly for the 2021 models is they have a wireless pad that will even like do your Apple Watches and stuff like that. We'll take multiple devices, not just phones. So you can put down into the center console.
So yeah, if you don't have wireless charging in your car, you can make it into a wire. You can get wireless charging in your car with one of these accessories. Actually, I'm looking at the Jetta website right now, and actually they're even MagSafe compatible now for people with iPhones. So they're constantly upgrading and changing these.
Yeah. They're very busy. They told me they're very busy with V4 or something like that, whatever the newest version of something. So
John has a tray that clips onto a steering wheel for when he's eating in the car.
I do.
I just think that's silly, but you know what? To each their own.
It wedges
You know
onto
what?
the steering wheel.
It really works well. It hooks to the bottom of the steering wheel. And when I'm supercharging and I'm sitting, having a meal, it's great. I have my seat back, I have my Netflix on, and I'm all ready to go.
Just takes longer for John to put it in his mouth, so he wants less distance.
Yeah, I have to lean forward a little bit.
Don't want to expend energy eating. Morrison referred to this armrest hidden storage compartment previously. Tap Test makes the one that I know of. There's probably a couple of other ones out there, but when you lift up the armrest in your car, there's a little indentation in it. There are actually storage compartments that hook into there, that attach into there for keeping important documents in, for keeping your registration in, insurance, whatever, so that you don't have to go into the glove box. And it's still sort of out of sight and nobody would know it's there.
Yeah, I bought one. Can you mention this? It came today. I literally put it in. It took like 2 minutes.
Yep. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the more ingenious uses of a space in the car that I've seen. I personally don't have one yet, but John showed me his.
Yeah, they don't cost that much.
Nope. All right. Any thoughts, comments? Anybody want to say anything they like so far from here?
The one thing about the wireless chargers, you have to realize you're not going to get on the Android, you won't get speed charging unless you route cable from the 12 volt, and you got to pop covers off and do all kinds of crazy stuff if you want speed charging. So just to be aware of that when you buy it, you won't get it unless you run cables back to your 12 volt connector back in the console.
Yep. Yeah, no, this is a standard, very standard. This is a standard just QI enabled charger. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know what the wattage I'm getting, but it's not bad. I'm home most of the day. My phone is charged, right? So it's not.
Yeah, I use mine for like when I go to Pittsburgh. I got 4 hours. So if I can't get my phone up to a decent charge, and it's more of a keep it topped off versus trying to charge it from the ground up. So
yeah. I mean, worst case, what you can do is you can just, grab a cable and plug in.
Yeah,
But again,
I
you're
have
not
a
going to get a higher rate
I did that
either
too.
way.
I carry that in my car. I got the console with the plug with the cable that gets me speed charging in case I get stuck or I'm out of juice on my battery and I got to speed charge it super quick.
I also, though I haven't charged in a while, but I literally have one of those battery packs.
Yeah, I use
If I
that
really
too.
need it, it's just literally in the center console. If I got to pop it out, plug it in, it's not a big deal. So,
Yeah.
Then again, you barely drive your car as it is, Alan.
yeah, I mean, I'm working
I
from
know.
home. There's no place to go right now. So
I was all excited. I got to go to Pittsburgh the other week. I was all excited. I got to drive my car for 4 hours out and 4 hours back.
Yep.
because the past year it's down to the store and back.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
That's
exciting to have a
really-
car where you're actually excited to go drive it?
Yeah. Or have it
John,
drive me.
John's mention of eating while supercharging reminded me that's one other accessory I meant to mention. In the Model 3 and Y, you can put a bracket behind your screen that allows you to tilt it towards the driver more
Yeah.
and tilt it towards the passenger even more. So if someone's sitting there while supercharging, wants to watch a movie, that's almost dead center on their view. And when you're driving, it's actually much easier to see detail, much more in your field of view as well.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
I have a
surprised they
question
It
didn't.
allows
for
you to
that.
tilt it back and forth at will.
Morrison, I have a question. I've seen that a few times and I'm kind of partial to that. Have anyone seen that face to face? And if so, what is the feedback? Because it seems pretty appealing, but I think, it's a preference thing, right?
I haven't installed my car.
Oh, you
the
have it?
last 7 months, maybe 8 months, somewhere along those lines.
Do you like
Yeah.
it?
I do. It drops. So I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'3" or something along those lines. So it drops it down by about an inch or so and tilts it up. So when I'm looking down on it, I get much better viewability about the screen. And people that are working when I'm supercharging tend to like the idea of the screen being more on their view than center on. You have to you just have to lean over to see dead on. So
Maybe we can have you install that as well when you come up to PA.
Just gonna say that.
That's pretty simple to install. I mean, it takes time, but it's not the same kind of time as anything else we've discussed.
You don't have the same delivery dates than the Tesla, right?
Well, I'm booked out until July. I only do the stuff on weekends. I have a day job. It should be a little faster than Tesla.
Yep.
Right.
Mark, the charging pads will work on your photos in its case. It depends on how thick the case is, and if you have a pop socket on your phone, forget it.
Yeah, if you got a pop
Oh, yeah.
socket, yeah.
Yeah,
Pop
I had to
socket will
get
kill
used to without having a pop socket. I was in love with them. I got one of these great thin cases, so it's just we're good to go.
Yeah, you can also get removable pop sockets that work well, like you pop the back off. then
Oh
you have
yeah, they
just the-
slide
the
out.
mount,
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they'll charge with that on.
In all honesty, I was a big prophet for pop sockets or vanity knobs, as I call them. But I got used to this, right? I mean, this is good as is. I just in my pocket, it's usually face in towards the soft side of my pocket and stuff like that, or it's in my jacket. So, it's not the end of the world. I got used to it. You can too if it's if it's a problem.
It's also an issue if it's metal in the back of the case. I think more than the thickness of it. Metal will stop, obviously, and induce the power into it. Plastic won't.
Exterior things. We're gonna have a session at some point on like actual like wraps and ceramic, etc. That being said, for Teslas that have the chrome trim, there are actual pre-cut chrome delete kits that you can buy from a number of companies. I personally have used the one by Nikola Pro, Nikola Pro, which is very good quality, pre-cut. They'll even replace any pieces that you screwed up for free. You just literally email them and they'll send you replacement pieces if there are any issues. There are lots of handle covers and wraps if you want to make those different colors, carbon fiber, whatever. You can buy aftermarket spoilers or body kits. Aftermarket spoilers are definitely cheaper than the OEM one and are basically indistinguishable. There are ones that also have different shapes as well that you can buy. Noise reduction kits. Alan, do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, I bought them. I have not put them on. The car's pretty quiet, but you can, again, you get them on Amazon, you get them on Abstract Ocean and all the other places. They're basically just sort of foam inserts you can sort of put on additional areas of your doors and your trunk and stuff, and so that you can sort of make it more quiet and, keep any kind of rain or water out. They're not that expensive. So
has anybody actually done that? I've done a lot of research on this, and the experience is hit or miss. I've even looked at foam filled tires, and reviews are 50-50.
So Mark, if you have the stock tires, they're already foam filled. So in fact, if you're really curious about the tire tech, we have a talk for that where TJ talked to us and taught us a lot about tires, very informative. So for me, I looked at the perspective of the car is already pretty quiet. So, I bought it with the idea because I heard, again, hit or miss, sometimes their cars were noisy. And so I just bought a kit. It didn't cost a lot, and thought, all right, it's like foam tape. You put them in.
Yeah,
and
these are things
that's
that they
about
get
it.
just stuffed into all the little gaps between the glass
Yeah.
or between the metal.
Yep.
I mean, the only time I realize my car's noisy is at about 75 mile an hour, certain road surfaces. I seem to hear that more, but I guess that's because I don't have the rest of the noise of the car. So therefore the road noise, the tire noise seems to be louder than I guess what I'm, had always been used to.
Yeah, I will comment also that the dual pane glass on the newer ones does seem to cut down on the wind noise that you hear
Right.
off the mirrors for sure.
And
Yeah, I got a
that is,
2019, so
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
hear a
doesn't- yep.
little wind noise occasionally when I'm at high speeds, but it's not so much that it's,
I usually hear tire noise before I
Right,
hear
yep.
wind noise.
yeah. Definitely get EV, tires made for EVs. It'll make a difference.
Yeah, I've got still
Yeah.
factory stock because I only drove 3,000 miles last year.
Right. And
Yeah, and
that's,
we're gonna try to get TJ on again for another
Okay.
talk now that I'm sure people have seen in the news that a bunch of manufacturers are now working on tires specifically for EVs and the specific challenges of tires for EVs. And we're gonna try to get him on again to talk
Yeah.
about that.
but it's up on the website. If anyone's interested, you can watch the video. It's really informative.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if we got anything more. There's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot, but we can
Yeah.
definitely open up for discussion if people have any things that they put on their car or bought that they particularly like or think are particularly high quality, or if you want to warn people away from any particular products or companies. I can comment that there's generally a lot of negative stuff about RPM Tesla in particular. They make good stuff, but their shipping times are very, very long,
Yeah.
and their communication is terrible.
Yeah, I bought the spoiler for my Model 3 and it went on great. The quality's great. The install, double-sided tape, it was easy. But it took probably 3 times as long. And I emailed them many times after the dates they promised. But, the product's good. It's still stuck to the back end. It's double-sided tape. It worked really, really well. Like you said, the shipping times were horrendous.
And they don't
Yeah.
answer emails really.
No, it took days before they get back to me.
That's good
They
to know.
make very,
because-
very good, very slick installation videos though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know because I almost pulled the trigger on the mud flaps. But
Mhm.
I went with another vendor, but I was real close to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many mud flaps out there. Like the ones I put on my Model X, I got them on eBay, and they were fine. They're literally the exact same thing, and I probably paid $20 less for them doing it that way.
Right.
Yeah, I see
Um,
an RPM. I see an RPM Tesla. There's actually a post on TMC of something that the owner commented, which was rather racist. So I steer away from them for that reason as well.
Beverly was. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm assuming that's Latoya. Has a good question about
Latoya?
any warranty issues with aftermarket modifications.
Not so much. They have to prove that your modification, according to the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which is federal law, they have to be able to prove that the modification that you made caused the problem. If that can't be proved, and it's pretty hard to prove it, then you're not voiding your warranty by doing most of these things.
Yep. Beverly?
Chrome delete.
Yeah.
So some people just don't like Chrome on. Some people don't like Chrome. Chrome delete is literally just vinyl stickers that go over all the Chrome to black it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's
it's a little
basically
it's you can do it by yourself. It's a little finicky. I can tell you when I did mine, the first side took me 4 hours to do, but the second side took me only 2 hours to do because I knew what I was doing. You can find people who will do it for you too. Any place worth their salt that does wraps can do that for you. Okay. Wheel protectors prevent curbing. Does anybody want to mention anything about that? Thoughts on wheel protectors? There's a number of brands out there. There's Alloy Gators is sort of the most well-known of those brands. Morrison, you have stuff to say about it?
Yeah, I've curbed a few wheels of mine. I mean, you can get them repaired. They look pretty much like new as to my experience. I haven't gone that way. I actually decided I was going to buy a second-hand but non-rimmed set and put my winter tires on the rimmed, the curved rash tires, and then use the nice ones during summer. Someone else in our group, in the Maryland group, commented that you can go 15% wider to, like other cars, sit out, have the rubber touch the curb instead of the rim. I'm looking forward to doing that when my tires need replacing. But that's my recommendation, because these rim protectors, they're made of plastic or something that's not particularly hard, so they're just gonna lessen the damage. I don't think they're going to be. They're a half-ass measure.
I think Morrison's right. I mean, the rim protectors actually can do more damage than good. There's been a lot of stories, if you look around far enough on the internet, about them flying off and ripping parts of the car, ripping parts of other people's car. It's not ideal when they come off at 75 mile an hour and hit on the highway. So, on the idea of rim bands and stuff like that, I think you're almost better off going with like one of the other products, kind of like what Alan was mentioning about the Rimetrics, where it does cover, that part of the rim. Or, as Morrison was saying, I have third-party wheels right now that are 19s. The rims on my current, or the tires on my current rims are actually, I think, 245s instead of 235s. So there is a little bit of wiggle room in some of these tire sizes that you might be able to go a little wider and protect the rim in that way.
Barry, you saw the rim tricks. What'd you think? Did they look okay?
I think so for the most part. It comes down to personal preference.
Right.
Since it's like a matte black, like personally, I wouldn't get them unless they were in something more toned towards, like a chrome look, just because I didn't do the chrome delete. I left the chrome on my car. If I were going the other route, doing the chrome delete, or if I had a newer Model 3 or Y, then it would probably make a lot of sense.
And keep in mind, this is not a rim replacement. This is to sort of just replace the arrows, right? So they make a silver. I don't know how good those look in person. Yeah. I have pictures. People want to look in the Slack. You can find them. I'm not gonna bother anyone with them. I took some pictures.
Okay, floor is open. Any other comments, questions?
Good session tonight, guys.
I put links for the tap test hidden compartment and then for the emblems in the chat for everyone.
Yep, and Barry, you took notes, so if you send me that list, I'll get an email out to everybody, right?
So we're all doing this as club leaders because we love our cars, we love Tesla. We know that the ownership experience can be a little confusing sometimes. So we're here for you. We're here for you, the members. We have a bunch of different programs that exist to get your questions answered, to help you out if you need help. We have a mentoring program. We have actually a hotline number that I guess gets John. We can help you get set up. We can help you figure out your car. If you're having issues, let us know. We want to know. Please join us if you haven't joined us. Our next upcoming event is in a couple weeks. We're actually joining a car show down near York. And if people would like to come to that, please sign up. The fee for a car joining at the show is $11. It's $10 technically, but it's $11 through us because we have to cover our credit card fees. But the more people we get signed up, the bigger a block of spaces we can get at the show so that we can have us all parking together. They're sort of excited to have us there. So I would like us to get a decent group of people together. In addition to that, they are actually planning on having an award for best EV with a trophy. So, you know, that's always a nice thing too.
There you go.
Now you can kill your screen.
Okay.
And I don't know if you mentioned it, but we also have the Slack app where we interact.
Yes, yeah, we should really put that on there. Thank you. We have a Slack group. It's an active discussion these days, typically between Jose and Alan. But we would love to get more people involved on there, posting. It's a nice space for actively discussing things, sharing information, and just being cool to each other.
Hey, give Barry some credit too. He jumps in.
Yeah, Barry does jump in.
Yeah. So seriously, I mean, if you haven't joined the club and you live in Pennsylvania, we would really love to have you in here. I know this as we were talking, I was just going through the list of who's here. And there's a couple of people on here. I'm not going to mention any names that are not members yet. And you guys should join us. I mean, it's if you live in the central PA, it costs you $10 a year. If you're in any of the other chapters, Pittsburgh State College, Lehigh Valley, King of Prussia, you get the first year free. So there's no excuse. No, Kevin, you need to join your Austin club. Again, I told you, I'll hook you up with Gail.
Hey, John, just to advocate your about the membership, I'm relatively a new member. I don't even have my car, but I do have the top 100 accessories out there. But I think for me, it's been in the last few weeks or month, I don't know, since March, I guess it was, I don't know. But it's just a collaboration, validation. Hey, this works, this doesn't really work. Try this, you know, from charging to what are your thoughts about how this works? So it's been very good. So if you're looking for some guidance, some feedback, honest opinion and support, I think you're in the right place.
Yep. The more we help each other out, the better. That's what this is all about.
Yep. Thank you, Jose. All right. So we got rid of that. So we did all the
yep. And Jatoya says, don't forget the Twitter and Instagram accounts. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. You know, that's one thing that we didn't talk about, and I know it's not accessories. It might be in another, I know we're wrapping up, but washing your car and taking care of your car.
Yep, yeah, we have that. Yeah, we have that coming up as soon as we can, as soon as Ben actually gives us a date.
Yeah. We've got one of our supporting vendors that runs a detail shop that does wrapping and ceramic coating and all that stuff is going to do a full session with us.
Yep.
He even wants to do an in-person session. Bring your car. He'll tell you what to get and he'll teach you how to hand wash your car properly.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. As always, we have a great time seeing everybody. And hopefully we'll see you at the June 12th in-person show in Shrewsbury, if you're in New Freedom, rather, if you're anywhere around that. And we'll be putting some new events up on the website shortly.
And usually once a month we do cars and coffee and stuff. So keep a lookout for that as well. So.
Yep.
Hey, Kate, thank you for coming, Kate. It's always great to see you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.